Before I make this video, keep in mind that I'm half white. I was engaged to a white Greek female, okay? And obviously I'm not racist. You know, you can look at my videos going back 12 years and you can see what I'm speaking about and how I'm speaking about it. And I'm not some kind of communist, not some kind of racist, what have you. With that being said, why do I bring up the white Jew and LGBT community so much? Well, first of all, what standards are they using to judge me and to oppress me? It's the white Jew and LGBT community. The Jew says, don't talk about the Jew while he's merged with the white and quite often more rich than he is. So he's quite often more, you know, some of them are more oppressors than the rich white oppressors and some are less oppressors, okay? You see what I'm saying? So it's not fair for people who are among the greatest oppressors of all to not point out that they have social clubs and corporate groups as well and that they're discriminating as well, okay? So when you're a man of truth and justice, you then have to emphasize that because society is also not doing a good enough job of spelling that out. So they're judging me with a white standard, okay? Now, let's talk about these groups. So once you're judging me with a standard and you're saying, no, you're incorrect in what's supposed to be a free country and that these people are correct, okay, then it's fair for me to then start scrutinizing that. I'm sure we can all agree, especially when they're harassing me, they're fuming me, law enforcement is not arresting these people, the FBI, the CIA, Homeland Security, these guys aren't bringing this up as a Homeland Security issue, as a national security issue. They're not saying, hey, it's a matter of public safety and national security and securing constitutional rights that we arrest these gang stalkers, even if they're the presidents and people in the government. That, you know, they turn themselves in. You know, the honorable thing for them to do is to turn themselves in and to admit that this is going on and to arrest all the key players, and to fine everyone else or whatever is justice in that regard. You see what I'm saying? They're not doing that, and that's part of the white standard. And it's important that you understand that. Now, how do we get here? Well, look at who are these white people? Okay, some of them are in hate groups. You know, there's countless. They're said to be a record level of hate groups in America, right? Over 1,000 hate groups or something like this. Now, a lot of them are said to be small groups of black guys. Okay, but there's still large groups of white people in hate groups. Okay, and there's still undocumented hate groups. Okay. The second is the social norm fanatic, right? In Nazi Germany, the whites there just roll with Nazi Germany. During slavery, they just roll with slavery. So it's the social norm fanatics that just roll with it, right? They're in the right, left, and middle. Okay. The next group is the rich white racist, right? The eugenicists. He argues his genes are superior and that he's worked for his money at times. Sometimes he just admits he has old money, but he says his genes are superior, so it's okay for him to be rich and to hoard money and so on and so forth. So he's a racist prick that rolls with racism as well. There's the rich white female. Sometimes she dates guys who seem more polite and classy, quote unquote, than the other kind of corporate pigs, okay? And she will never give the general guy a fair shake. She wouldn't judge me by the content of my character. If I go to Los Gatos or Beverly Hills or someplace like this and try to talk to a classy, attractive white female, you know, quote unquote classy, right? Comes off as classy, at least, you know, when you know, at least at first glance, if you don't know better about, you know, to judge them fair. If you don't know to judge them fairly using the scale of character and what classes truly honor, you describe it as classy because of wealth and health and so on and so forth. Okay, she wouldn't give me a fair chance. So all four of these people are complete fucking idiots. They're not exactly Master Splinter, and compared to Master Splinter, you know, compared to me, rather, Master Splinter is just a rat. Okay, then there's the LGBT community. Okay, it's not a coincidence that black people are acting gayer than ever by far, and they say, you know, E. Michael Jones, for example, said this. They're saying that black people go to the gay disco. Okay, a lot of rappers came out and said, once you're gay, the doors open. You know, the doors open up for you. Okay, when you're the most stigmatized people, and a lot of doors are shut. Okay, and you say, hey, there's a bunch of new doors open if you're gay. You see that these desperate people turn to being gay. I'm not. I'll never be gay. I'm 100% against the gay agenda. But there you go. These five groups of people have no business forcing their standard on the top martial arts ever. They simply never grew up. We can go back to the hate group guy fucking is like as a developmental disorder or some in a way that is extremely harmful. He never grew up to know that racism is wrong and to live the truth that is wrong. Okay? The social norm fanatic, right? He's like a little kid following daddy. What are you doing today, daddy? Like a bitch without his parents having a profound moral cause. He never grew up. You see what I'm saying? The rich white guy never grew up. He's like, my toy, my toy. He's hoarded a bunch of toys, a bunch of poor kids with their heads down. He never grew up to know to treat people fairly. He wasn't raised right. To be Mr. Right in his right mind, on the right path, doing the right thing, being righteous. He was not raised doing that. Neither is his bitch. And neither is the LGBT community when they play stupid about the gay agenda and the abhorrent way that they treat black people. Is that how you treat your so-called allies on the left? You know, it's supposed to be a pluralistic culture, not a melting pot where you force people to be gay. That's fucking sick. And you have a bunch of females harassed in corporations say, well, why didn't you help us out? Well, newsflash. There wasn't that many black people working in those corporations. It was those white people and your fellow woman that didn't help you out. Okay? It is sad when I have to point these things out. So yes, your standard, your whiteness standard, and I'm part white, I'm not racist, okay, is an abomination. It is a failure. It is despicable. When you define yourself as a race and that race doesn't produce one moral group that I can turn to, okay, then that definition that you've used is an abomination. You have to leave it and transcend it. It's the same thing your Bible is saying. Who do not love the world and anything in the world, including conceptions of race, even though scientists said race doesn't exist, okay? It's a psychological construct based on the appearance of somebody, okay? And you're supposed to transcend it. You did not do that. You grasped onto it and said, no, it makes us superior, my white privilege, and started acting like punk-ass little kids that never grew up. Little kids that insist that they have to cheat everyone else. And then what do with this money they cheat? They fuck it off. It's a wasteful consumer society. So you might buy a boat or a little more expensive pickup truck to impress some prostitute-minded whore. Okay? Is that really worth the fucking obvious disgrace that you live in? Think about it.